All right, we're welcome back to Floral Guild Radio with Jennie Love and Ellen Frost, and we're in the final home stretch with our 5-part flower math series. Hopefully, you guys have learned a lot over the past couple of episodes. And here in this final episode of the series, we are going to be talking about how we can create a win-win scenario for farmers and for florists, and how we can meet each other halfway in this flower math equation that often makes business hard for both of us. Let's be honest, like both sides struggle with profitability. Yeah. So Ellen, what kind of honest conversations do you wish your growers, the people you buy from, would be having with you? Like what kind of things would help you if they, like, I don't know, just like what are some of the things besides everything, I guess, what we've talked about in these episodes are the things we should be having conversations about?
I think it's hard for probably farmers and for florists both to have to be more transparent with their pricing processes. I know that's hard. I know that feels like things that people hold close to their chest. But at least for me, from the florist side, it would sometimes be helpful for me to understand like how that price came about. And not to question like the validity of it. I just sometimes feel like I don't understand. And a lot of that comes from, situations where one product feels like it's priced out of line with other products of the same or similar quality. So where you have one grower who, is selling dahlias, for instance, at $4, and everybody else is, in the $2.50 range. And like for me, especially if that's a grower that I have a relationship with, or that it's a grower who is expecting me to buy from them. It's hard for me to be like, what's up with that price? Right? Like that's weird. And it's probably also weird for the farmer to be like, here's why I got to charge $4. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're both like, what's
it
going on?
feels confrontational to question somebody's pricing.
Absolutely.
And then when you're the one being questioned, you feel very vulnerable. And so those are spaces that human beings generally don't want to be. We don't want to feel in a tense conversation. But I would encourage florists and farmers to have some of these more challenging conversations, because that is where health comes, like where we're healthier as a group, as an entity. And if we just don't talk to each other, then it gets really messy, and you'll stop in that $4 dahlia. In that instance, you're going to stop buying from them because you can't see the reason to justify it.
And I feel like that's
the growers like
uncomfortable. That's equally as uncomfortable because now I'm basically ghosting you, and you're like, what's up? You've been buying from me for all these years, or you've been buying from me for all these months, and now all of a sudden you're not giving me any orders. So I mean, that's equally as challenging and weird, I think. So it is a hard conversation. I think florists are in a unique situation. I feel like I am, because I'm buying so much product from local growers. I actually see a lot of people's prices. So I know, a dozen, 15, 18 growers in our region. I know what they're selling and what they're selling it for and what the quality is. And there are definitely times where I'm like, I want to buy this product, but it is, much too expensive for me. And sometimes, honestly, like I'll just give you an example. I had a grower who was selling calla lilies, and they were charging for like a mini calla, so not for like a giant mini calla. And the price was like $4.
Oh my.
And right. So I'm like, I buy a lot of stuff from you, but this is craziness. I mean,
Right.
and partly I wanted to just say, like, let her know you're not in the range of
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. Like, I just want you to know, because maybe you're not getting a lot of orders, or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I approached her and said, this price is just really not in line with anybody else who has this product. That's fine. I mean, if that's
Yeah.
what you need it to be, that's fine. I just want to give you a
Mm-hmm.
heads up.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, actually, this is the first time I've ever grown this product. I have no idea what the price should be.
What the price?
I
Okay.
don't know where to price it. I'm not really even sure what my costs are for this product
Yeah.
because it's so new to me. I just, went
Right.
off a wholesale list, or I went off,
Yeah.
something that wasn't, and I was like, okay, well,
Now
the
you
other
know.
the other farmers are charging too. So,
Right. Yeah.
you want to make
Yeah.
a change, cool. If you don't, cool.
Right. Yeah.
But that's a hard, it feels uncomfortable. It feels,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you said, like maybe I'm trying to like shame you for something, or I'm trying to like
Yeah.
say that like something you're doing is wrong, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if we both go into it with a spirit of, I think, education
Mm-hmm.
and
And
a
support. Like you want to buy those calla lilies. You
yes,
would probably like to buy the calla lilies. And that grower has just taken the time and energy to explore
yeah,
a new product, a new crop. But then if they don't sell, that grower is going to feel defeated and maybe not go with a crop that could actually be a great crop if you were willing to buy it. So it feels scary, but it's the only way we're going to succeed as an industry for both the growers and the florists to have a
yeah.
winning scenario together. Yeah.
And
So,
I never want to be, I was just say, like, I never want to be the customer who seems like they're not valuing the
mm,
product. Like,
hmm,
I never want it to be like, I don't think you should be charging this much because I don't value your product. I don't
yeah,
know all that goes into it. Just like you said, there's a million
hmm,
inputs that growers have. I want to respect that price. But that might, without more conversation, that just might mean I don't buy from you.
hmm, hmm. Yeah, and I think those conversations are so valuable. I can just speak from one that I had last year with a customer, one of our floral customers for Philly Floral Guild. Hopefully she's listening, but I won't mention her name. But she's one of our best customers, but she's also one of our most communicative customers in terms of if something isn't working for her, she lets us know. And instead of taking that as somebody who's being critical, I try to take it as somebody who's being constructive, who's giving me a
Yes,
constructive feedback that I can help find
yes.
new avenues for supporting her and her shop and it, by default, all the other, 100+ florists that shop with us.
Mhm.
And also ways that if there isn't flexibility there, then I can at least explain why it
Yes.
is the way it is. And every time
Mhm.
I've had that conversation with her, she's been very receptive. New understandings have been reached, new offerings have been made because she brought it up. So that
Yeah.
it's incredibly valuable for us as growers and as collectives to hear feedback from florists. So I think florists should speak up a little
Yeah.
bit more, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I agree. I think so too. And I think that um part of the reason I think why florists don't is because they haven't, because that relationship might not feel like we're a team. That's what I always think.
Mm,
Like, I always think like with my growers, we're a team. And so if I succeed, you succeed, and vice versa. But if you just feel like I'm the buyer and you're the seller, and as the seller, I'm just trying to get as much money from you as I can, or I'm trying to get as many sales. And as the buyer, I'm just trying to get the cheapest product all the time. If it feels like that, then the discussion
yeah.
doesn't really work. it's building, in my online class, one of the things that we talk about a lot is that the relationship between a farmer and florist is a real relationship. It is a honest to God, I mean, I'm not trying to compare it to like being married, but it is an honest to God like relationship that needs work. It needs nurture, needs, it needs all of those things. And that might mean having
hard
meetings,
conversations,
coffee shop meetings, more conversations that feel harder so that you don't feel so uncomfortable bringing up an issue around price or quality or, anything else.
Yeah. I love that idea of thinking of us as all as a team. Instead of like transactional capitalism, like we're all probably everybody who has their own flower business, be it a growing operation or a design operation or both together, we all opted out of consumer capitalist mentality. That's why we got here. So why should we continue to trudge along in this sort of broken system with the way we run our businesses? Instead, that collective team mentality could be really valuable and should be, I don't know, the pinnacle of what we're trying to do ultimately. So speaking of the system, it feels so hard anymore for a flower farmer to be truly profitable. It feels hard for independent florist shops to be truly profitable. We both have so much risk. I think that's maybe a running theme in this particular podcast series. And with the flower math, there's these pieces of the puzzle that are so hard to overcome and to actually price to the place where your market will bear it, but you are still making some money. Some days I feel really defeated. I have no particular answer to my query here. I'm going to be honest. I think it's just more to have speaking of hard conversations, this is a hard conversation. It feels really hard for both sides to succeed and be profitable. Do you feel that way too, as a florist sometimes, particularly one that interfaces with so many growers?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I've felt it more in these last like 2 or 3 years. Than ever before, where I have been feeling like, as flower prices increase, nothing I do seems to be able to make up for the increase. Whether it's because I can't charge my customers more for retail, or I am not getting bigger weddings with bigger budgets, or whatever it is. It feels particularly hard to make a profit, and to make a profit that is like, neither of us have other jobs. Like this is our solo job. And it does feel more burdensome, more stressful, more difficult than I think it did before.
Do you think there's anything, have you ever thought like, well, if only this changed, I would feel like I could have a better shot at this? Is there anything that growers could do?
It's tricky because I feel like for me, like, and I think the farmers have to really like hear this. Like for me, the thing that I could do is not buy local.
Right. I know. And we need you to stay.
The thing that I could do is to buy from a wholesaler, or to buy half my stuff from a wholesaler, because that would be a reduction in price that might make it more feasible. And so, that's like, I think what a lot of traditional florists who say, I want to buy more, but it's too expensive, or I want to buy local, but the price is not right, and for me, I'm not gonna do that. That is
right.
I've taken that off the table. But for most florists, looking at that bottom line price is going to be a bigger a decision maker than, than not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I've figured out for myself is like I have to really pinpoint those revenue streams that are profitable for me. And I
Okay.
need to go all in on those so
Okay.
that I am not like, maybe I want to do single order deliveries, but they are not profitable. Or maybe I
Yeah.
want to do open studio nights, which are a lot of fun and they bring people in, but they're not profitable. The model is
Mm-hmm.
not profitable
Mm-hmm.
for the amount of money I have to pay for flowers. And so I think for me, I've had to just narrow my focus to those revenue streams that do work with local flower pricing
Okay.
and get rid of the ones that don't.
That
Um,
don't. Yeah.
that's, I
So
feel
a
like we're always
grower,
making hard decisions, right? We're
yeah,
always making those
yeah.
hard
Any entrepreneur is always
decisions.
making way too many hard decisions. It's definitely a matter of decision fatigue
Yeah,
in
right.
my life. But so it sounds like if a grower had a close relationship with you and understood how you're dialing in to focus your sales channels, then
Mhm.
maybe they could grow to support you. They could grow the crops that support those sales channels the most instead of just
Yeah,
haphazardly growing whatever they want. I think
right.
that's one thing that growers could certainly do to support florists is to listen, to hear what the florist wants instead of all of us just grabbing the seed catalog, or more likely, well, not and it's in conjunction with scrolling Instagram and having that like anxiety that this farm is growing that and that farm is growing that, and just feeling like we have to grow all these things. For growers, it would help us too to narrow our focus, to come
Yeah,
in to a more refined crop plan that is dovetailed into
yes.
our florist's needs instead of trying to just do all the things and grow all the things.
And that is going to
Narrow.
require, you know, a hand in hand
Mm-hmm.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
going to require
Yeah.
the farmer understanding the florist and the florist communicating back to the farmer, because we have so many times where we have growers come in and they say, I have this beautiful, amazing product. It is so niche, it's so cool,
Yeah.
it's so like nothing you've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, well, we don't do something that uses that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's like, oh my God, nobody will buy this amazing product I have.
Right. Right.
I'm always trying to help growers like understand your florist business,
Mm-hmm.
understand it so that you can offer them a product that is in line with what they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think again, in a collective selling environment like we have at Philly Floral Guild and other collectives, it allows that specialization from grower to grower where the growers specialize and meet the specific needs of certain florists while not pigeonholing, not limiting themselves to this place where they can't have flexibility to change if that, say, God forbid, that florist goes out of business that they
Right.
were really depending on, and now they've got this product line that doesn't match up with anybody else. So it all goes back to this idea of working as a team, working as a professional guild, as a collective, whatever you want to call it. It's the
Yeah.
idea is instead of being solitary soldiers out in the market field.
Right.
We are working as a unit. We are thoughtful about each other's success and working towards a solid goal where both the farmer and the florist are profitable,
Yeah.
and together we all thrive. So I
And
hope
I
we
know
can
that
make a new
there's
system.
I know that there's, like just like the idea, because I can hear in my head like people saying like,
Mm-hmm.
I got into flower farming, to grow these beautiful things, to be able to try this new stuff, to be creative,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it's not trying to turn like this beautiful creative work into just like we all have to make money.
Right.
But if we don't make money, there is no room for anything else. Like
Yeah.
we have to be profitable. We have to be able to pay our bills. We have to be able to do that in order to even think about, let me look through the seed catalog and grow some beautiful thing that's where let me look at your availability list and cherry pick that beautiful purple lisianthus that I've been dying over. We have to focus on both of us being profitable
before everything else.
Before anything else. Like it just,
it's
critical. And I know that that is not something people like to talk about or they don't like to admit.
Well, I think anybody who's been in business very long, I know you and I mean, we can only talk to our own friendship, which has been so rich and dynamic over a decade plus. When we both started, we were those rosy-eyed, like, I love this. This is such an amazing, oh my gosh, I love flowers. Look at this cool thing I'm doing. And then year 5, you start to really hit this wall where you're like, okay, it's been great, but I'm tired. And why do I not have any money? And then year 6, 7, 8, you're like, what is going on? And you can only work without financial stability. Let's not even call it profitability. It's stability. It's stability. You can't enjoy your life. You definitely can't enjoy your work if you don't feel secure, if you don't feel stable. And so there's no point in getting into a flower business if you are going to later regret what you did, basically. So we need to be profitable, even if it sounds like a dirty word, which it really shouldn't, for the record.
It's not. It's and it's not. And I think the farmer and florist working together is key. I think that can change things for people. I think that can really be a positive influence on how we both succeed.
Yeah, and if growers learn to tailor their product mix, it's just to go through all the pieces of this flower math, equation. There's that price per stem. We can't just offer really premium, expensive stems to florists. You can't make money that way. And there's different ways we can change our production methods to be able to actually produce less expensive stems. And then there's those quality tiers we talked about, offering different tiers. So you have choices, you have selection, understanding, you need to understand delivery fees and how they fit into your equation and all the things. There's all those pieces. But if we both sides of this team know, and they're not sides, if everybody on this team knows those pieces of the math, then we can all just be really open about it and support each other. I'm excited to see where it goes. I do think collectives, flower collectives, are really making an impact in the floral industry. Slowly but surely. It's not like we've done, made a huge change already, but it is a coming change. And I like to say, with Philly Floral Guild in particular, that we want to make local a focal. Like, I don't want to be the supplementary, like you were saying, where a lot of florists, they primarily do the traditional wholesaler, and then they get a little bit from local growers to supplement and satisfy that desire to be more sustainable. I want to see growers, small local growers, figure out how to crack the code.
I want that too.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be amazing if we can get a lot of florists who buy primarily local stems? And then maybe their customer
wholesale, supplement wholesale.
Yeah, maybe their customer's like, I really want a protea. Okay, fine. We'll order just a protea. But so that's the vision I have for the future. And I think ultimately florists and farmers would be more profitable together if we get to that point. So we're working our way there. And part of this podcast is to help everybody do that. So thank you for sharing all of your knowledge, Ellen. This was a lot.
Thank you for all of your leadership.
Well, we're doing it together. We're doing it together. That is the point. So listeners, come back for more. Ellen will be around for sure. We've got lots more up our sleeves, and Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. I wish everybody very much success in your flower businesses.